Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the fifth session of Business Tech Masterclass. And today we are talking SEO. And I know it's this like sort of the nastiest thing everybody can ever want to deal with. And we're going to get to it, why everybody hates it so much, but also why it's actually one of the easiest thing to do. And after this session, hopefully you will realize how you yourself as business owners or as affiliates of business owners can actually take matters into your own hands and plan where your business will be going in the next 6 months to a year. So without further ado, let me share my screen with you. And so in our class today, we are talking about two different modules because they go hand in hand, SEO and online marketing. And as everybody knows, SEO refers to search engine optimization. We're going to get to that. As the first bullet point you see here, we will be discussing is search engines and how they work. So first, we're going to answer the question, what is a search engine really and how exactly it works? So if we learn how it works, then we can see how we can manipulate them or how we can basically, that's not something I teach, manipulation, but anyway, how we can manipulate search engines and also how we can favor our own business no matter what online platform we're on. Then we're going to go and talk about the basics of SEO. There are three basic principles, keywords, tags, and meta descriptions that every person basically using the internet needs to know. Every person specifically who's putting content out there needs to know in order to be able to broadcast the content the way they want and gain the audience that they are hoping for. Following that, we're going to learn how to insert these tags and actually what tools there are and what tactics are right to use and how to insert these tags into our platform so we can get the optimum result out of them. We'll discuss blogging, something that I'm sure one person here other than me, I'm a huge fan of blogging, but one more person I can see, George, I'm sure you love blogging. I know that you're a writer like me. Yes, sir, thumbs up. We're going to talk about that and why this simple concept can be the easiest solution to everything you want in SEO. We're going to talk about links and finally organic SEO, what exactly they mean when they say organic search results and how we can get that for our own benefit. And finally, we're going to bring it together and like sort of conclude our discussion and learn how we can implement everything that we discussed today into our marketing. So let's get started. Now, let's give 1 second, my computer. Alrighty. Now, first, what is a search engine? Before I go there, I want to just share something with you I found a couple of minutes ago, and I really loved it. First, this is everyone's understanding of SEO. Yeah, if you could make us #1 on Google over the weekend, that would be great. Yeah, that's we wish for, sure. Yeah. You see, the problem is SEO is not an overnight process. So let's get one thing out of the way and you will see me talking about this, and in different slides, I have included this. There are no shortcuts to SEO. Okay, done. So if there's any person, if you ever hear me say, hey, I have a shortcut, I can get you on top of Google, like in the next month even, it's a scam. Don't believe it. So let's just get that out of the way. There are companies that make crazy promises for crazy amount of money. Like there was a company that I personally used to work with, so that I used to work for them until I got to a point when I saw they're making promises and charging people on average $4,000 to $7,000 for 2 months of work only, promising that after 2 months, their business would be on top of Google. And every single one of these companies basically have a disclaimer saying that, oh, if this, if that, if that. So in the end, they will find a clause to show you the reason you are not on top of Google is something that is your fault, not theirs. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. First, what are search engines? And yes, I'm showing you Google. It's not a mistake. I actually wanted to show you this because when we say search engine, this comes to mind, right? But are there other search engines? Like, seriously, is there anything else? And are there any other search engines that people were using? I'm sure. Now,
YouTube.
Sorry, what?
YouTube.
Yes, actually, YouTube is still a part of Google, but no, actually, if you want to go back and count the search engines that have come up since 1990s, the number would surpass 120. Yes, and that is 120 known search engines. When we talk deep web, there are thousands of search engines that normal people like us don't really have access to. And we will talk about deep web today as well, and what exactly it is, how we can go, how we can enter it, and is it even necessary. So Google is the simplest and honestly not necessarily the best search engine out there, and I will tell you why. But it's the most complete one. The reason Google won the war is this design that you see here. It's a page dedicated to searching and nothing else. Now, that being said, going back to different search engines that we were dealing with, depending how old you are, you might know some of these logos here. You might not. These are still the new ones. There were ones like Ask Jeeves that still stands today, or there are a lot of much older ones that I'm sure most of us haven't even heard of. Let's see. Have you ever heard of Archie? If you have, give me a thumbs up or something. Anyone? No, of course not.
Not me.
Archie was the first search engine that ever came up. Now, this, by the way, these slides I've made for SEO session today, they have a lot of written content, so I will just talk about them, but make sure after this class you sit down and actually read what I've written for you, because there's a lot of details in it. But you see, basically, the first few websites came up in early 1990s, and but the first search engine, which was Archie short form archives, they for whatever reason they couldn't type archives, so they call it Archie. That came up in 1990, pretty much, I think. And the reason was that there were still, before websites came along, web existed. If you remember, we talked about Web 1 and Web 2, and Web 1 started in 1980s. And there was still content on databases that companies were using that needed to be organized. Companies needed to be able to access their content very quickly instead of searching through everything. And now I want to take a moment and raise the Canadian flag up, because as you can read here, I'm going to read from the top very quickly. Have you ever heard of Archie? No, not the comic character. I'm very funny, I know, but the first search engine ever. The first few hundred websites began in 1993, and most of them were at colleges or companies, like we spoke. But long before most of them existed, came Archie. The first search engine created was Archie in 1990 by Alan Emtage, a student at McGill University in Montreal. Yes. So if Americans say yes, yay! If Americans say, oh yeah, we have Silicon Valley and we are this and we are that, you're like, haha, okay, you exist because of us. Anyway, but here's the thing. Archie, actually, the job, this line is pretty much one of the most important lines here. Archie helps solve the data scatter problem. Okay, so that was the job of a search engine, so that people like at those colleges or people at those companies can access specific content inside their own private databases very quickly instead of manually scrolling and trying to find it. And how did it do it? By combining a script-based data gatherer with a regular expression matcher. So what does all of that mean? There were certain expressions sets. All right, like let's say they knew that inside their database. Now, for example, it was McGill University. Let's give an example of a college stuff. Let's say there's a college and they have a database full of books and papers and publications about, let's say, different types of microbe. And now a student wants to find a certain microbe. Now, the name of that microbe would be called our regular expression. So that already exists in the database. So basically every word that is written inside a database is an expression. Now, the job of the system was to match a user query or the words that the user types with those words. Was it accurate? No, not really. Nothing compared to today, but we're going to get there, how search engines today filter down the results and give you something that blows your mind. We're gonna talk some conspiracy too, by the way. So I'm gonna pause for a second. Is the idea of a search engine, how exactly it works, is it clear, or would you like a little further explanation? I can give you a better example, an everyday example. Let's say, uh, I have magical eyes, and I can set it to see specific colors only, right? Now, right now I have decided I only want to see red. So if my room has a lot of red in it, when I do this, I'm filtering it down. That's what exactly a search engine does. A search engine looks at the whole, looks at everything. That's why sometimes searchers take a little bit of time, but it narrows it down to only things that have the name of that microbe in them, or only things that have the name of your business in them, right? So that being said, search engines nowadays, like I said, there's not one. In the last, yes, it's not exaggeration if we say in the last decade only, so since 2010, there have been more than 60 like internationally popular search engines that have come and they were gone. And why they were gone, and this is why Google stands on top of everyone, we're going to get there. But let's see, with the show of hand or thumbs up or whatever, how many of you have used any of the logos here? Has anybody used Yahoo? Yes, thank you. Everybody. Has anybody used Bing, which is one of the most recent ones? Exactly. Everyone's like, ah. But that's actually a very good point. Why? Has anybody ever used AOL? Okay. Has anybody ever used DuckDuckGo? Have you ever even heard of it? No. But did you know that DuckDuckGo is the most successful academic search engine in the world? It's an amazing piece of product. It's something that will find pretty much any paper published in any tiny, as President Trump says, shithole in a dark corner of the world, let's say Afghanistan or somewhere. This thing will find that paper. Unfortunately, our American friends are not here today. We wanted to talk a little about election, but hopefully next session, that's going to be fun when we know the results. Now, you see, search engine optimization means finding out how these things work and setting. So basically, we know the basic principle, but learning to insert expressions into our content that matches what people are going to search for. This is search engine optimization. So I know, for example, that Lise, can you please unmute yourself? What is your favorite thing in the world? What are you interested in?
Love.
Love. Okay, perfect. So if now I have a business and let's say I sell products and this and that and that. So it's not, my business is not about love necessarily. Okay. But I want Lise to become one of my clients. So what do? I put a lot of love into my content. So one day Lise is going to come to a search engine somewhere in the world and search, what does love mean? Or love is stupid, or anything, doesn't matter. Why is love so stupid?
Yeah.
Okay, which I think we all agree on. What a search engine does starts to search, like like we said, search for all the regular expressions that match our query, that match Lisa's query. Because my website has that, has a lot of love, 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 love all around it, Google is going to go like, maybe this website is a good match. Let me show it to this lady.
Wow.
That's exactly how SEO works. Simple as that. Now, before I go forward about search engines and why Google, even in this picture, Google, you see, there's Google and then there's the rest. Why is that? The reason is this. This is Google. So is this. And so is this. And this one. And this one. And this one. This is Google. Google is not one search engine. Google is a group of search engines. The reason Google wins is that each one of the search engines I showed you, like Yahoo, is very good. It's actually a search engine not necessarily for images, but it's a search engine for content, for links. So it finds news very easily. Forbes actually is a search engine. Okay. If you want to find links and content that are solely related to business and commerce, then searching it on Google is actually a mistake. Google is a very generic. Google is a grandma who knows how to cook everything. Forbes is a full-on French chef who gives you a, what do you call it, foie gras, which just melts in your mouth, right? So the reason Google wins the game is, number one, the design. Nothing else. Each one of those ones, like Yahoo, let's take a look at Yahoo actually right now. Yahoo gives you a search bar, but that's it. Then you have a lot of distraction, right? Google is like, I'm here to help you search. Actually, no, there are a lot of things on this page, but you see, they're all hidden. So the reason Google won this war, this search engine war, is simply their design, nothing else. Number two is that they have text and query search. They have images search, and yes, these two searches are completely different. And by the way, just to clarify, this is a completely different website from this. They look the same. They say Google. Even here it says google.com, but that is just masking. These two are two completely different systems that have nothing to do with each other. Okay, so is this one. This is Google Lens. This is AI. This is the beauty of AI. Have you used Google Lens? Take a photo of anything you like in the world, and that's why I love Android and I say iPhone sucks. Features like this. You can take a photo of anything in the world, go to, you can get Google Lens app, Android phones have it, drop it there, and it will tell you where that is, what that is, when that photo was taken, what time of day most probably it has been based on the lighting. Yes, it does that. Like, it blows your mind. You want to know, like, something like, as immigrants, we have a lot of issues finding the correct word for stuff. So sometimes, especially when it comes to vegetables, like seriously, I want to go shopping and I'm like, okay, I want to ask this person working here, where can I find cilantro? But I'm an Iranian. I don't have a freaking clue what cilantro is. I've never heard the word cilantro. So I take my Google Lens, I go to cilantro. I know that in Farsi, sort of, like this hypothetical. Or I have a photo of it. Just that's I find it on Google somewhere. In Farsi, I search and I find it. And then on Google Lens, I drop the photo there. It tells me the English one. Doesn't matter. So there's also this Google Videos, totally separate search engine. And this is, again, a different tool from YouTube. YouTube is, again, a different search engine. YouTube was actually a different company until Google bought it. Still, all of Google servers are in the United States, or pretty much are on what do you call it, are on cloud-based servers. YouTube servers are actually physical servers on the ground. And do you know where they are? They're in Vancouver. Yes. Do you know where in Vancouver? You know that ugly building on West Hastings where there's a turning, rotating restaurant up there? What do you call, harbor thing? That building. 10 floors of that building are servers for YouTube. Yep. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me. I think this was a mistake they made a while ago, but anyway, they're stuck with it. Now that we talked about all of this, let's get back to it. So now that it's clear what exactly a search engine does and how many search engines exist, why do we target Google? To be very honest, it's just simply because Google is the most popular one. That's it. What we do, the SEO that we're going to talk about right now, that has the same result no matter what search engine you use or your clients use, right? But we do trim our SEO game in favor of Google a little more, mainly because everybody, whenever they want to search for anything, they go on Google. Nobody goes on, like even Apple has a search engine. Did you know that? Now, Apple user, I'm talking to you. When was the last time you used, yes, when was the last time you used Apple search engine?
Didn't even know it existed.
Thank you. Exactly. If you open Safari, it first gives you a search bar. If you do not open any tabs, it gives you a search bar. That search bar is actually Apple search engine, but nobody even Apple users don't use it. And I don't, this is not anything against Apple. This is, I want to make a point that Google is so good and so complete and so popular. Now, Yahoo is dead. Ask Jeeves was actually the leading search engine in the world. That's dead. Yandex, you have never even heard of that. You're like, what the hell is that? Did you know there's a website, QQ.com? Yes, QQ.com. It's a Chinese server. It's the most popular search engine in the world. It's more popular than Google. Did you know that? But because there are 2 billion people in China and they all use QQ. Because Google is filtered in China, mostly. So there you go. Now that we got this out of the way, let's get on the fun stuff. What is SEO and how do we do this? You see, we just said there are certain words that people are searching for. We go and find them. We put them inside our content. So whenever they search for those words, they come and find our content. Not that difficult, right? There you go. Just like when I want to get my cat to eat, for example, I have a laser and I just make him follow it to get to the food, and I just turn off the laser and he's like, oh, okay, I'll eat. Sure, right? That's exactly what we're doing with we want to do with our clients. Now to do that, there are only 3 rules. No, SEO is not a complex process. It's actually a very simple process. There are 3 rules only. There are 3 principles that everybody needs to know. Number 1, keyword optimization. What are keywords? The same things we just talked about. The same expressions, regular expressions that we just discussed. They are keywords. So where do I find keywords? Like, can I just write any keyword I like? No, obviously not. It's the first, to find the keywords, you need to answer a very simple question. What do your clients search for? Actually, we are going to do a real test here. So we want to help one of your businesses. Now let's go hypothetically. You're gonna learn how to do this in a complete way for yourself after this class. But for now, let's say the first example would be about George. George, you're an interior designer, right? Okay. Guys, please unmute yourselves or type in the chat, whatever that works for you. And if you are looking for an interior designer, what do you search?
Interior designer.
Okay, thank you. Really? Do you only search interior designer?
Well, in Vancouver.
Thank you. So you see, so automatically humans filter their search queries as much as possible. And we learn this naturally. Like, this is a part of our culture. We learn to filter to get better results. And that's what we all do naturally. So, and at least I loved your answer. Thank you. The first thing you did was you added location. Yes, because proximity in this business matters. I'm sorry, George, to give you bad news, but you're never going to have a client from South America.
That's right.
Right? Because your business is a local business. So what we did was to add a keyword or a search query parameter. What is that parameter? Location. Are there other parameters? Yes, absolutely. Location, gender, age. For example, you search shoes for babies, right? There you go. You never search shoes for humans under 2 years old, 2 years of age. Do you ever search that? No. So the meaning is the same. So the denotation is the same, but the connotation is totally different. And it's the connotation that matters to people. So I'm sorry, I'm getting into linguistics a little, but it's necessary. SEO, that's why I love SEO. It's right down my alley. Now let's search interior designer in Vancouver. Ta-da. All right. The first things that we see are ad or paid results. Everybody can do that. And Google is favoring these because they make good money out of it. And are they successful? More or less. Nowadays, people are paying less attention to these, especially since Google learned that they can, this is the order of the results Google gives you. They give you ads, they give you location or business or anything basic, any specific result they find, which are still based on ads mainly, all right? And then it gives, well, obviously FAQ and related searches that we're going to talk about, but then it gives you something we call organic search results. And this is our target. Why? This, if you want this, you don't need to talk to me today. Just go on Google and start an ad campaign, pay for it, and you'll be up there, done. Yeah. You still need to select correct search query parameters. You still need to add the correct keywords, but Google Ads, actually, if you pay for it, they will do the research for you and they will tell you what keywords to use. So let's get that out of the way. Is it a good idea? You decide for your own business. It's not something I would teach necessarily. It doesn't need teaching. My grandma can do this. Our target is number one here, which is basically what you're seeing. This page is giving you results from 2 different search engines. It's giving you 3 different search engines. It's giving you results for map, it's giving you results for links, and it's giving you results for content. Okay. So yes, I want to appear here. Right now, for whatever reason, these 3 are not ads actually, but sometimes you see it says ad here as well. But this is right now the results that you get based on location. Why is it showing us? Does Google always do this? No. The reason it is doing this is that we searched in Vancouver. If I just search interior design, it's not going to show me a map. It's useless. Okay, so this is our purpose here. And see, guess what? We searched interior designer in Vancouver. Let's see what we got. We threw our fishing rod. Let's see what we caught here. Best 15 interior designers and decorators in Vancouver, BC. This is not an interior designer. This is a website. This is a blog. Interesting. What's the second one? Vancouver interior designer, Jamie Banfield design. Okay, so this Jamie has been doing a really good job. Okay, Vancouver interior designer, and let the games begin. But it's interesting that even though we search Vancouver interior designer in Vancouver, so we are specifically searching for a person, the first organic search result that we found was a blog, not an interior designer. Why is that? This interior designer has a nice website, which we have actually looked at before. George, if you remember, do you remember this? Beautiful design, fantastic. But let's read the content. About Jamie Banfield. So that's not SEO necessarily good for SEO. It's about her name. It's useless. Maybe her future boyfriend can find her website, but based on that content, but not people who are searching for interior designer. The point I'm trying to make, if you read through the content here, you may most probably, like I'm sure, you will not see the phrase interior designer as much as you see here. Does it make sense? Because this is a blog. It's a blog of interior designers. So guess what? I have interior design and interiors. You see how many times it's repeating itself? There you go. So now that I made the point here, the keywords that you select vary. Like if you change this, let's say, if I search, now I want to add ethnicity here. Let's say, I don't know. Are there any Persian interior designers in Vancouver? I don't know. That would be interesting. Vancouver Persian architects. Yeah, this one is definitely Persian. Yeah, Persian one. Samir or Safa. Yeah, definitely. Yep, it found it. But now it's interesting that when I added ethnicity, you see that's mainly pulling up social media pages because it's has searched through websites and people don't write their ethnicities on their websites. It's sort of, what did it say, racist? These days, everything is something ist. It's either racist or it's sexist or it's Buddhist. I don't know. Whatever the hell it is. I don't know what's happening here. But yeah, anyway. So the only place where people share their ethnicity is inside their profiles, right? Does it make sense? So this should already tell you that there's actually something people are missing. If you are from a certain, and I'm sorry, I'm going to speak as freely as I can, so please don't get upset or offended or anything. If you are a Persian, yes, it is smart to write the word Persian, Iran, Iranian in your website content. Because as you can see, obviously other people don't. So when somebody searches, and if you are from a community, if you are from a certain culture where people value their own culture and try to give business to their own culture, then you must include your ethnicity. Absolutely. You see? So you see how exactly it's working. Let's go back to the slides. So how do I select these keywords? Honestly, number one, experience. There's nothing I can tell you. And if after you do SEO for a while, you learn how keywords work. So you start to select keywords and keyword combinations and how you basically implement them, even what time of month, what day of the month you implement them. That comes with experience. But if you don't have much experience, don't worry. It's very easy. Go and copy other people. Go and look at your competitors and see what keywords they are using. Yes, sit down and read your competitors' websites and see which words are repeating themselves. Or if you are lazy like me, okay, and you don't feel like reading everything, then go to your competitor website. Go to, for example, I don't know, let me just search Vancouver web designer. So go to your competitor website, Vancouver web design, whatever. Yeah, sure. There we go. SEO in Vancouver. Oh, perfect. Of course, everybody does SEO these days. Okay, so, oh my God. Hey, calm down. I want to read it. It keeps switching. Yeah, very good web design. Anyhow, sit down and read it. But if you feel really lazy, okay, but you have an idea of what people might search in your own industry, just go ahead and go Control S and search for it. So go and see how many times they have used the word Vancouver. Yes, it does matter. Like we said, like I showed you, when we searched interior designer in Vancouver, the first thing that came up was a blog. Why? Frequency. How many times the words interior designer were repeated. Now, what is important for you? Location, Vancouver, is it important? Good. Go to your competitor website. Go to the most successful ones, which the ones that come on top of the search results, like I did. Don't go to page 10 of Google. It's useless. You don't want to be there. You want to be on page 1. Now, actually see, how many times have they used? How many times do you see? 13 times on one page. You can see the word Vancouver. Okay, actually, you know what? Thumbs up to these guys. They know their SEO game. 13 times on one page, you have the word Vancouver. Now I'm going to search the word web. 25 times. Now you're all thinking about your content on your own websites, aren't you? It happens, I know. And you're like, excuse me, I hope nobody else can hear me, but I want to swear just one word. Like that's the first time I learned this. That's what I told myself. What the fuck was I doing until now? Like, So far, my website was just a dead cat in the corner of a big barnyard. Doesn't like it was not even noticeable, right? 25 times the word web. That's a lot for a page that looks the way they have designed it. It looks like it has more images than more text, right? So it doesn't look like a text-heavy page. Reason you see that the text is on 14px. It's a small font. It's not large, and they have balanced their images. They have used 2 columns. This is what I call nice web design. I don't like the CSS they've done here. People from wittycookie.ca, if you're hearing me later, I know you use a child theme. You're cheaters, but good job. It's good cheating. I love it. So this should give you a very good idea. Go to your competitor websites if you want to use their experience and search for your keywords and write for yourself how many times they have used it. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. And again, like I said, I searched it and then I selected one of these, the first ones. I do not select a blog page, right? Because usually they come on top here, top 19 web designers in Vancouver. That's a blog, right? And I will tell you why it is a good idea to do this for yourself. We're going to get there when we talk about blogging. But guys, right now, before I go any further to the next point, is this idea clear to everyone how you can cheat from your competitors and learn your keywords and how often to use it? Yeah, all good? Perfect. Thank you. The next item that you should keep in mind, take into consideration when you're doing your SEO is user index. Simply go to Google and search as your own potential client. Okay. So yes, this is still using experience, but you're not using somebody else's experience. So you're using Google experience. So if I search Vancouver web designer, there are a couple of things. Number one, when you start searching, you see it gives you other suggestions. What you see is basically the best combination of keywords. Google is telling you what other people are searching for, right? Simple as that. That's the easy. When I used to teach writing, I used to tell my college students, hey, if you are not sure about the spelling and you don't have time to go and check a dictionary, come here, type half of the word here. Google will tell you the rest. Yeah, it does. Of course. So using a user index gives you a great idea of what keywords you can select for your own website. Now, I do not want people who are searching for web design jobs to come to my website, so I'm not going to use the word job. But hey, Victory Web Design Vancouver. Apparently, Victory Web Design Vancouver is a very, very successful company who has done very good marketing. So people have searched for these people for Victory, right? So number one, I'm actually going to salute them on my own website. Yes, we're gonna get to this point. I'm gonna include their name, even link to their website on my own website. I'm gonna compliment them for being such a great web design company. Do you know why? Because now I have Victory Web Design Vancouver in my content. Every time people search for Victory Web Design Vancouver, they will also see my website. Yes, internet is a dirty game, I know, but that's how you win. Anyway, other things that can be quite helpful, obviously, sometimes, like here, people also ask this section. This is also a part of user index. So take a look at that. It's very good. These are amazing. I love them because the snippets that you see here are collections of the most closely related content that Google could find. Okay, so this basically what I'm saying, this gives you your primary suggestions from Google. This gives you your secondary set of suggestions from Google. So far, so good. Alrighty, you see, SEO is easy. Now, let's get serious. Where can I really find keywords? my business is unique. Yes, I did go to my competitors and I used their experience. I did go to Google and I found, now, I've done these two and I have a list of 100 words. I cannot use 100 keywords. If you use 100 keywords, it's just like not using any keywords because none of them stand out. Can you repeat 100 keywords 25 times on every page? No. So first, how many words should I focus on? There is no rule for this. So honestly, I cannot give you an exact number and nobody can give you an exact number. I will tell you why. But as a rule of thumb, you shouldn't go anything less than 3 keywords and you'd better not go with anything higher than 6 or 7 keywords. That's just based on my own experience. I have no academic proof for it. I'm saying it right now. So please, if you'd like for your own industry, go and search for it. How many keywords are good for the content of my industry? Okay, if you are a graphic designer, I'm pretty sure the keywords and even the number of keywords that are okay to be used on your website are different from a web designer, definitely different from an interior designer or a lawyer or a judge or anything else. So once you have selected your list of 50 random keywords that you found here, you need to go to a keyword planner tool. There are a lot of tools, there are free and paid services online that allow you to basically check the quality of the keywords. All right. So I'm going to go through them one by one. I made the mistake. I put this one in the middle and this one on top. Actually, this is number one. This is the first tool you're going to use. This is the second tool you're going to use. This is the tool you're going to use if you're really serious about your SEO and you want to spend a tiny bit of money. So let's get started with this. What is Trends Google? Google Trends. Google Trends, most people don't even know this exists. This is one of my favorite toys. I play with this. Like when I'm bored, I play with this. Here, search a term or topic. It will tell you the frequency, the days, even the time of the day. These terms are searched, where they're searched most often. Let's say in the United States. Now you can change your settings to show different countries to you. Which states, for example, which cities, what time of the day. Related topics. You see the academic major, 140% have searched in academic topics related to interior design. So if you are an interior designer, you should learn from this that, you know what, I can actually have a section where I can teach interior design, write blog content, okay, on my website, because there are people who search for it and they can land on my website while they're searching for those academic topics. This sounds crazy, I know, but go to every successful website that you know, like websites that people can find very easily. You see the amount of written content on them is huge. And when we get to talking about blogging, you will really realize why. But this should give you actually a very good demo of here. Interior designer San Diego. Oh, you know what, George? Why are you even living here, man? Come on, you need to go to San Diego. This is telling you what people are searching for, how to become an interior designer, how much money does an interior designer make. Apparently people are interested in that. That's the 4th most popular question that people have asked. So yes, if I'm an interior designer, I want people to actually search for me just for the sake of my website to become popular. Not every person who lands on your website is supposed to be a client. By people coming and going, by increasing traffic to your website, Google notices your website more. So then when your potential clients search for it, it will come up better. The mistake that I am guilty of, I have done this a lot. The mistake most of us make is that we create SEO patterns for, let's see, I'm just gonna come here. Okay, Canada. The mistake that we all make is that we think we are doing SEO and the target of the SEO is only our potential customers. No, the target of the SEO is increasing traffic. Okay, so this is why I told you there are no shortcuts to SEO. SEO, this is a global misunderstanding. SEO is not putting some, even when we started this discussion, I showed it that way. But now that you really get the picture, I can be more specific. SEO is not putting something there so your potential client comes and picks it up. No. SEO is putting a lot of tiny stuff, different types of tiny stuff all over your content. So a lot of people, client or non-client, come. So your website gets higher traffic. When a website has higher traffic, Google gives it higher priority. This is how you come up on organic search results. If you have very good SEO game, which only targets your potential clients, but you are in a very competitive market, so potential people usually go to the website based on the word of mouth and referral, okay, then you cannot just do SEO for those potential clients, because the chances of people landing that potential client to come and check your website is next to zero. What you need to do is to make sure you have so much traffic on your website that Google says, hey, you know what? Anytime somebody searches for any of these, your website is going to be number one, bro. I promise you. Because your website is so popular. Do you want to know why Google does this? Because Google makes money out of the traffic to your website. Google, whether you like it or not, puts snippets, lines of code, or even you can go as far as putting ads on different websites. Okay, now if you want an ad to show up on your website, you should actually allow Google to do that, and Google would pay you in return. Okay, but even websites like my website that do not have even one tiny box of Google ad on them, but I have used a Google product on my website, like Google, I'm using Google Analytics. So I allowed Google to place snippets of code on my website by doing this. None of us read the terms and conditions. By connecting any Google product to your website, you're allowing Google to modify your content. Yes, Google has advertisements for deep web on all of our websites. We are just talking about the surface of the web, and that's what the majority of people are using. Huge companies don't find their providers on Google. Trust me. There are deep web search engines, okay? Search engines that we don't even know. You can access them by, they are unindexed search engines. So like a certain industry has a search engine and only those people have access to, okay? Google puts advertisements on your website for products, but those advertisements are only detectable by those search engines. Does it make sense? So the more popular your website, the better for Google. So yes, and now this gets when happy Halloween, by the way. This is where things get a little spooky. Have you ever said this? Oh, I was just talking about cat food, and then I went to watch a video and I saw an advertisement of cat food. Oh my, I think my phone is listening. Of course your phone is listening. It is the job of when you bought the phone, you actually allowed them to do this. People think this is called a personal smartphone. No, you purchase somebody else's product with the settings by default, and by buying it, you have consented to use it. They don't even need to ask you to listen to you. Does it make sense? So yes, our devices do listen to us. Yes, your camera is working even though the light is not flashing. Yes, and no, Google doesn't even need to use your smartphone, because there are AI motors that follow the pattern of all of your search queries in the last year, 2 years, 10 years. Okay, and then they know how your life is changing. So yes, like here's a very good example. I got a cat last week. Okay, it's crazy. I love him. It's just like the cutest thing ever. But I just did an experiment for myself because I wanted to get a cat. We wanted to get a dog, but it didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. So we suddenly got a cat. So we had no searches about cats whatsoever. All of our purpose was dogs. Okay. Every time I had to search something, I used my wife's device, not my own device. Okay. Guess what? I'm getting ads on cat food on my phone. How do you think it is? Google knows that my wife and I are married. They know that we connect to the same IP address from the same Wi-Fi. They know what time I start working, what time I go to sleep. And yes, because they know that I spend more money than my wife, they send the advertisement for the expensive things to me and the cheaper things to my wife. It sounds too much? I'm just easing you in, okay? Now, this is the first thing. I do recommend everybody to use it. It gives you a very good idea of, like, let's say here, you see that British Columbia, actually interior design in British Columbia is very popular. So if you're, tell this to your friends, if they want to immigrate to Canada and they have a business, they want to see where their business will be flying, do this. And then move to that province or state or whatever it is. The second tool, my friends, that I want to show you. Let me just close some of these. I have too much stuff here. The second thing I wanted to show you is this. Now, Google has a keyword planner tool, which is free. Is it useful? Sort of. Because the target of this keyword planner is actually Google Ads, is not organic search results. All right. So, but it is still useful, as you can measure the quality of the keywords you have selected to see how and how often people search for it. What you do need to do is actually you do need to enter your credit card information to have a Google Ads account, but you don't need to, as long as you don't start your ad campaigns, they don't charge you. Okay, so this is what I've done. I have created a profile. I have created 2 ad campaigns, but I have not run any of them, as you can see. Okay, does it make sense? They are both draft. But while you're doing this, you have the chance to go ahead and I have to create a new one right now. It takes a long time. But if you want, try this. And once you're creating this, it allows you to search for your keywords. Okay, does it make sense? So like I said, this will take a tiny bit of time. So right now we don't have the time to go through this because I still have a lot of things to cover. But please make sure, take a look at this. It's a free service. You don't pay for it, like I said. For the planner section, you don't pay. It's not 100% accurate, like I said, because the target is ads, not organic search result, but it's still better than nothing. So it's a good place to start. But if you are really relying on SEO to bring business to you, and why am I saying this? I personally, this did cost me a big client. I was talking to a restaurant that was going to make something for them, and then I don't know why all of a sudden I opened my mouth and I said, I know why, but you shouldn't tell all the truth all the time, right? They were saying, oh, so we need to do this and we want to invest this much in SEO. I was like, but you're saying that you're a local restaurant and you are already very popular with your clientele. So you know what, business wise, you don't even need SEO. People are not going to come to Peace Arch to eat something there. You know what? If you have specific people from the neighborhood who are coming to you, then you don't want to do SEO. It's useless to you. And I lost a client because I told him the truth, because I told him that you don't need SEO. And he was like, oh no, so I said, no, I know what I want. I was like, oh man, why did I talk? Just zip it. That could be like a $5,000 website. So, but the reality is that you should always look and see what exactly you want, where your traffic comes from. If your traffic, if SEO or organic search result is a major part of your business, then yes, it does make sense to pay for services such as SEMrush. You see the ad all over YouTube these days, and I did actually try their trial. I used their trial for a day just to see how their tools work, and they're amazing. It's a very, very, very complete platform. So I do suggest you to use it if you are serious about SEO. Or if you're like me, you can just get it for a month, do it, and then get rid of it. You don't need to continue using it. So the pricing, as you can see, can be a little, edgy, but even the I tried this. Go and try for, you can try any of them for free for, I think, what was that, 8 days, 10 days, 15 days, whatever. Go and try it. Or if you want, you can just buy it, use the tools. Just if you do SEO now, okay, then you don't need to do SEO for another 6 months. Get the try for free, use the tools, fix your SEO problems, close your account. 6 months later, get your friend's credit card, make a free account, try for free, use it, optimize your SEO, close your account. 6 months again, get another credit card, make a free account. There you go. Ta-da! What? No judgment. Anyway, so now that we've talked about this, and like I said, there are a lot of tools you can use. SEMrush is just only an example. Now we need to get to actual things that don't need money, things that we can do. And the second principle, not keywords, but tags and headlines. Everybody talks about tag. What the hell is tag? What is a tag? You see, tags and headlines, I put them in the same section because technically they do the same job. A tag is a highlight that you put on a certain content, okay? And you, instead of, so that search engines, instead of coming and reading all of your content to find the keywords, they only look at the tags and say, oh, this text is about this. They go. All right. So basically, we put keywords inside the content itself. Because, like we said, there are search engines that don't check links and tags. They only check the content, right? But like Ask Jeeves is one of those. It doesn't care about the links. It doesn't care what you call your website. It only cares about the written paragraphs inside your website. But Google checks all of them. And one of the first thing they check are headlines and tags. All right. So we use the same keywords, but we need to insert them as tags onto our images, onto stuff that don't even have text. Do you have images on your website? Of course. Can we do SEO for them? Of course. We can put tags. Now, before I go to the images, let's talk about title tags. What are title tags? Let me see. I think I have it here. I've shown you this image once before. This is a title tag. Okay. So it's basically a title that you put up there that most people think that this is the name of a website. No, this can be anything you like. The name of your website is the name of your website. It's your domain. That's it. Done. This is the title or description or whatever that you write that comes first. And this is honestly what everybody reads. Nobody cares what your domain name is. Your domain name can be 123killmenow.com, whatever. But here in the blue section, you write the chocolate heaven. Trust me, people, you will get a zillion clicks. I promise you, right? People don't, when you think about it, when was the last time you really cared about the green section when the blue section is so bold and big, right? So that's it. The phylum is, we have talked about this in the first and second session, doesn't matter. So there are title tags and there are description tags. There are two different tags that you can put forward as the most noticeable things for search engines to see. How can we set them? I'm going to show you how you can do that. But basically, number 3 and number 2 are essentially the same thing, tags, okay? The two principles. how we insert them, I'm going to show you right now when we get to the end. Let's talk about headlines. What are headlines? Headlines, as the name suggests, are the headlines. So here, let's go to my website. Oh, here, this is the headline: stunning free images and royalty-free stock. This is the headline. This is the sub headline, right? Now, I call it headline because I'm a human and I can see that this is here, but the computer doesn't understand this, because the way a search engine sees, this is not the first thing for a search engine to see. The first thing for a search engine to see are your tags, and after that are them from the top, going from top to down. First, your navigation menu, right? And guess what? Think, what have you written your navigation menu? About, services, gallery. Nobody searches for these words, right? So we must find a way to show the Google that, hey, once you're done with my tags and you want to come to my content, this is the first thing I want you to look at. And that is where headlines come in. There are 3 different types of headings. Let me just go back here. There are 3 different types of heading. There's hero heading, like that's the biggest, the most bold thing that you see on top of every website. We always do this in font type H1. Now, I can quickly show you that. When you're designing, when you're adding a text element to your website, you can select, you see there's an option that says heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, and then paragraph. Heading 1, H1, this is that. Okay, so the reason those exist is not web design, but SEO. That is the reason they exist. And by default, every design platform gives you those. Why am I telling you that this is not about design? Because you can insert an H1, which is supposedly big, but then go and make it small and change the shape and change the font. So to a human eye, something can look, let me give you an example. This, everybody says, oh, come on, this is obviously less important than this. This should be H1, this should be H2, right? Not necessarily. This can be H1, this can be H2, right? Because we are not talking about design, we're just talking about the bare bone basics of the font. So that's the first type. Let me just go here. That is the first type of hero, we call it hero heading, or the first image of the website is called hero image. The first text of the website is called hero text. So the main title or the promise that goes on top of the page is the most important thing you can write on your website. The second most important thing you can write on your website is heading, not hero heading, just heading, which comes in H2. Just like the example we were looking at. Let's go to another website. Let's go to my website here, Tech Master Academy. You see that the heading is H1 is Tech Master Academy because the name, I have selected the name of my website using the keywords that people actually could search for. I wanted to have technology inside it, definitely. So you know what? I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to use my own name. A lot of websites don't write their name here in H1 because their name is not SEO worthy, right? My friend is a dentist and his dentist office is called Happy Tooth. It's useless, right? So writing the name of your website when the name of your website is Happy Tooth up here in H1 is a waste in SEO. What you can do is to write a promise or a set of keywords that people could search for. My second line is my H2. Let's plan business tech together. Honestly, none of this matters. I wrote this in H2 because of the word business and repetition of the word tech. Okay, does it make sense now?
Quick question.
Pause. Yes, sir.
Why don't you just make Tech Master smaller, learn business tech together? That's another way you could do it, right? If learn business together promise, you can make that bigger.
Yeah. Like I said, the size of it, the design side of it, we are not talking about that. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I can use H2 and make it this big, and then use H1 and make it this big. The CSS or the custom styling that we do, search engines don't give a damn about that. They just come and say, okay, where is the first H1? That's what I care about. Does it make sense? Right? Okay. Now, are there other headings too, like others, like something we call subheadings? Yes. There's, if you remember, if you go and actually add an element, you see you can select heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4 even. So you have hero heading, headings, and then subheadings. And the only reason H1, H2, H3, H4 exists is to show the importance of the content. That's it. Not the size, not the shape, not the font, the importance of the content. So how do we use subheadings? Or how do we use headings? Headings are generally used for as the title of the different sections of the page. Okay, so the whole page will have one main title or the hero heading, which is on top. Then the page has different sections. Then in my example, this is my first section. This is my second section here. This is my third section. This is my fourth section, my fifth section, right? So each section can have its own title. Now, guys, take a look at this section. Out of everything you see, especially here, featured and business tech masterclass, which one do you think I have selected as my H2, as my heading? Go ahead. Do you think, is it featured or business tech masterclass?
Featured.
Because it looks bigger, right?
Yeah.
No, that is actually the same. That has the same value as this. That I'm using paragraph for both of them. It's business tech masterclass again that I'm using as my H2. So I want you to take a second and let it sink in. It's not about how it looks, but it's about the functionality. Who is going to search for the word featured? No one. But again, if I put this in H2 or even H1, okay, I'm showing the importance of this. So if you search business tech, I've used it 5 times. If you search business, I've used it 19 times. Right? This is how it works. You see, business, 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 business. I have used the word business 1, 2, 3, 4 times here. Why? Why would I write? They see here. This was always a question for me. Why in websites they write the title like business tech masterclass, and then they start the sentence with the same title? Because of this. This is the reason.
Because when you do books, you avoid repetition, right? It's the opposite.
Yes, exactly. But this is not a book. This
Or
is a
paragraphs.
marketing.
Yeah,
This is a landing.
Okay. Makes sense.
Right? So let's put that out. Let's just solve this for ourselves once and for all. That SEO and design are 2 completely irrelevant things to each other. Design is something you do in 2 or 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, done. Website is up. Thank you very much. You pay Sherlock and Sherlock goes bye-bye. And then you need to spend 3 months, maybe 6 months and work on your SEO. The biggest problem I have with my clients, not just me, I think if you ask this from any web designer, they tell you the same thing, is getting content from clients. It kills you. And because for an optimum set of content, you need to teach all of these SEO things to people and then tell them, now go and write your content. But who has time for that?
So are you saying then that it takes 3 to 6 months to convert?
Yes,
To get
sir,
SEO results?
exactly. 3 months is very optimistic. And showing up on organic search result on average takes 6 months.
Can you show up on page 1 in 6 months of work and beat someone who's been doing it for like 3 to 5 years?
Sorry, what was that again?
Can you get to page 1 and beat people who've been doing SEO for maybe 2-3 years or more? Is that possible?
Absolutely. And I will just tell you why. It does not matter how long you've been doing it. We're going to get there in a second if you don't mind. Okay. Let me just go back to my thing. So far, H1, H2, H3 are all good. So inserting headings is as simple as this. So today, actually go to your own websites, log in as to your backend, go and check all of your headings and subheadings. See, did your designer put them in H1, H2, H3, or did your designer use paragraph for all of them? Usually because designers are lazy, and when you add a text module, it automatically goes to paragraph mode. They just leave it like that and then they go to design and change the font and everything. Go and check it. And but I don't recommend you to try and change it from paragraph to heading, because then all of the custom styling that they have given, like the font and italicizing and all of those, they will disappear. So if you go, this is when they say audit your website for SEO, this is the first step. Go and audit your website for SEO. H1, H2, H3, are they set properly? If they are not, get back to your web designer and say, hey, Sherlock, you missed this, this, and this. If you can do it yourself, go and do it yourself. Honestly, by now, I think you should know enough in this course to be able to change it from paragraph to heading and then go and create the same style for yourself. It's not that difficult. If you're not sure, go and check our CMS, watch our CMS session 3, I think it was. 2 or 3, go and watch it as a reminder of how to do that. Now, headings are done. What about tags? Well, Sherlock, you started to talk about tags, but then you just forgot about it. Oh, no, I didn't. The reason is that you cannot really insert tags manually. On some things you can, I will just show you. On images, you can. Other things you usually can, but generally tags cannot be, on WordPress at least, tags cannot be inserted manually. Okay, if you are using ClickFunnels or other ones, well, you're paying $100 a month, so of course they give you the tools to do that. But even ClickFunnels has added that recently. Now, if you go to ClickFunnels, when you want to save a page for the first time, it will tell you, give me your title tag, give me your description tag, give me your meta tags, give me this, 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 this. So they will do your SEO for you, okay? But on WordPress, no, unfortunately not. But there are, like I said, when there is a will, there's a plugin, right? Whenever you want, whatever you want to do, there's a plugin for it. One of the most popular plugins is Yoast SEO. Yoast SEO, I use it on all of my websites, most of my websites. Because of my business is mainly based on referrals. So to be very honest, I never really cared about SEO in my own business. Because there are so many web designers in this city. Okay, if you want to rely on, or in my business, if you want to rely on organic search results, I'm sorry, but there's no other way to say it. Once you find a client, you have to drop your pants. You have to be the cheapest, most affordable, I will do everything for you type of web designer. I don't want to do that sort of business. My sort of business is referral, and I charge them as I wish. And they're happy with it, I'm happy with it, right? So that being said, because I have done everything I told you, if you go and search web designer, for example, web designer Coquitlam, because I wanted to I didn't really care about this location. My source of traffic is mainly referrals. But if you go and search web designer Coquitlam, there's a good chance you will see me as like 3rd or 4th there. So it's good. I'm on the first page, and I haven't done much SEO. It's good enough. I actually get 2 or 3 calls a month, clients who find me on Google. I'm happy with that. If I close even one of them, that's like $2,000 minimum, right? There we go. So Yoast SEO actually does have a free version. Okay, so you can go to your WordPress. If you're using WordPress, you can start with the free version, but the pro version honestly is a piece of art. I really love it. What they have done. If you see that, you remember we said this video search engine is different from a text search engine. Video SEO is different from text SEO.
Somebody installed that Yoast SEO on mine.
Whoever it was, that person was very smart.
Taryn, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't me for sure.
And it was Taryn. Okay.
Yeah, it was Taryn. Yeah, because like and by the way, this is not the only plugin. I'm sure there are a ton of useful plugins out there. But if your SEO is going to bring business to you, then I do recommend you to install this, play around with it. The reason I had to uninstall Yoast SEO from every website I had worked on in the last 6 months, because there was a PHP update, the server language update, and Yoast failed to update their plugin. So a lot of websites broke overnight. Like one night, I got 16 or 17 emails, different people saying our website shows fatal error. People were like, my phone was off the hook. It was calling left and right. And so all I needed to do was basically log into their server and delete the plugin from there. Like nothing would load. When you typed in the website, it would just be a white screen saying WordPress fatal error. Done. It's the scariest thing you can see, right? So it wasn't difficult. I figured out because it told me where the error was. So I went and deleted Yoast SEO from everyone. Now they have released a new version. So if you want to install it on your websites, go ahead and do it at your own risk. I have it running on my SketchBros website now, and I updated my PHP to 7.4. So it is working right now, at least. If you want to try it, I have included the link here. If you want, just click here, go and check it for yourself, or you can just go on to plugin section of your WordPress and search Yoast SEO and find it. Last, before I go to number 3, if anybody has questions, please go ahead and ask.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So is it important then to put in your tags? And do you recommend a service like SEO, or kind of should I set that aside?
If you want to, first, do you need SEO? That's the first question.
Yeah. Well, let's say yes. Let's say the answer is yes.
Let's say yes if you want SEO and you have WordPress websites. What I would do first, I would search for my keywords and find my tags and keywords. Okay. After I've done that, I would check all of the body content for H1, H2, H3, and also the paragraph, even by the way, here, I forgot to say, this doesn't mean that the content that you write, the paragraphs are not indexed. No, they are still very valuable. Okay, so check all of your content for your keywords. Like I said, go on your own website and go Control F, search your keywords. How many times have you used it? If you have used it only 3 times, then it's not enough. Make it 13 times. Yes, you may need to rewrite all of your content. I know that. Okay, Lise, if online traffic, if organic search result is a source of business for you, okay, again, remember this. I personally don't do it because I don't care about that sector. Last time I got a client from here within Vancouver, and by the way, I'm not talking about you guys, but overall, like last time someone random called me, like you guys were basically both referrals. But when somebody called me for a whole website, I have to give them a ridiculous amount of discount. And then they called me again to say, hey, can you do this one as well? I hung up on them. And I texted them, I don't want your business. Thank you. Don't ever call me again. Are you kidding me?
So are you saying then that your organic searches are giving you kind of a lower level of client?
Yes, and it's normal, because in my business, look, just go and search Vancouver or web designers in British Columbia, Vancouver, whatever. See how many you can find, right? Trust me, the number is higher than 15,000. So why would I waste my time compete with 14,999 other people, when I have access to awesome people like you, like Iman, like this guy, that guy, all I need to do is to create a good job so people refer clients to me. And that is the strategy I decided to take on. Instead of putting my energy and investment in SEO and bringing in clients that I don't even know how qualified they are, I'm going to put my energy on creating better results. So then, and then put it as a strong portfolio in front of my own contacts or my contacts, and then say, hey, do you mind sending me these clients? And yes, people who send me clients, I pay them referral fees. I'm happy with that, right? If I sell a website normally, let's say for $2,000, and somebody refers the client to me, and I sell that person a $2,000 website, and I pay $200, $250, even $300 to the person who referred them to me, I'm still making more money than getting the same type of client from Google. Because then that client comes and says, you know what, I hear you, your work is so good, but can I, instead of 2,000, can I give you 400? They do that. People do that. And I do the same thing. People, it's our way. You lowball stuff to get it at the best possible price. So use your SEO, start your SEO game at your own discretion. You might not even really need it. That's what I'm saying. You may as well just spend that time and energy revising your content and making it more palatable, make it more tasty to your own clients, potential clients who are referred to you, right? That's the strategy I selected for my business, honestly. Now that title tags are done, number 3, the last one. I'm sorry, this was a long story, but because SEO has a lot of, it's easy, but it has a lot of tiny pieces inside it. I'm not going to waste any time here. There you go. It's the same thing. We talk about title tags. This is description tag or meta description. And again, Yoast SEO, you can insert it here. If you're using if you're using a funnel builder or something like ClickFunnels, they have a spot for description tag, and you can see what description tag is, right? Description tags are the best way to call people to take action. It's the best call to action booster you can have. Here is the thing. I personally don't read them very much. Most people don't read them very much. That's why capitalization is very important. But it is so important, it has become such a widespread practice that Google, if you want to do this through Google themselves, they limit the amount of capitalization you can use. They don't allow you to capitalize everything for emphasis, because everybody knows that nobody reads this. They only pay attention to the capitalized or bolded sections. Make sense? Are we good? I'm going to get past this because there are more important stuff to we still have 4 other slides. We did talk about this somehow, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. So we have talked about the Yoast and everything else. What I want to show you is what I want to talk about is number 1, number 2, and number 4. We talked about the tools, but we haven't talked about tactics. First of all, make sure that you insert descriptions to your images, PDFs, videos, and non-verbal content that you have as well. Do you have time for me to demonstrate that to you? Because it's very easy. So I'm just going to log into one, I don't know, let's go to the usual, no, ILCs, where are you? ILCs. I don't even remember. Do I still have this website or did I delete it? I made so many test websites for this course, I've lost track of them. Doesn't matter. Yeah, apparently I have it. Okay. So when you have when you upload any sort of content, and again, as usual, because I'm recording this on my own computer, after an hour and a half of recording, my RAM is almost full. So the computer gets a little slow. Sorry about that. Whatever you're using doesn't matter. So when you upload any sort of content, whether it's an image, whether it's PDF, it's a video, blah, blah, blah. So let's say I have uploaded these images, okay? This looks like an image, does like a nice one because actually it has written content. So if people see it in Google Images or an image search engine, they might pay attention to it. Now, how can I make sure people see it? On the right side, you have these beautiful things that nobody pays attention to, unfortunately. I want to shoot myself in the head. The title of the image. I do delete this. I leave it blank. And as I mentioned to you before, the reason is if you have anything written here, when people are on your website and they hover their mouse over the image, a small pop-up will open and shows the name of the image. So it looks ugly. So that's why I erase this. And actually search engines don't even care about this. However, search engines do care about these two quite a lot, especially this one. So yes, write a description, write your keywords here. And this is how you insert tags into your images and separate them with a comma if you like. So here, tech, business. What are my keywords? Vancouver, for example. Now, if it's location, any query parameter that you think people search, anything based on the keyword planning that you did, right? This is how you can insert into your images, to your PDFs. The good thing about WordPress is that it allows you to add captions and description to pretty much every sort of content, except for written content, which I don't understand why. Most probably the new version of WordPress, I think they are going to actually add that feature. So excuse me. I think they're going to add in built-in SEO tools. So Yoast SEO will soon go away. All right. WordPress, as like the latest version of WordPress, has features that we used to install 10 plugins for that. Now WordPress does it on its own. All right. So go it. There you go. Write your keywords. When you're done, click somewhere. You see that it's saving. It says saved. Congratulations. That's how you inserted your tags. Does it make sense?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So for all of the images that we have on our website, we put in the description the SEO
Keywords.
words.
Yes, the keywords.
Okay.
So let's say, Liz, what do you think people would search to find your business, to find a business in your area?
I don't know.
So let's say people who are searching for your business, but your potential clients who are wandering around in the world, when they want to find, because you have a solution to their problem, right?
Yeah.
What is that problem? You see, that's what I said. You should ask yourself, what do my clients search for? How to find true love? Good. Come here and write true love. Men.
Dating.
Handsome. Sorry, what?
Dating.
Dating. Thank you. Dating. Date.
Relationship.
Go on.
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak. Thank you. So what does it mean once you do this? When somebody goes on Google Images or goes on Google and actually searches for these words, you know that when you search, sometimes it also gives you image recommendations on top of Google.
Yeah.
Your image can be one of them. And guess what? Your image can actually have some sort of written content on it. This is the easiest, the most classic way of putting an advertisement for yourself out there. Putting a billboard. This is like a billboard.
A lot of my images on the website is my face.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so what? Your face is beautiful. Go with and put it up there. Why not? Because especially in your industry, it's an interpersonal service.
Yeah.
Right? So you want people to see how calm and nice you are, and they can trust you. There you go. So yes, this, my friends, is something that I'm sure. Now, again, go on your website and look at every single one of your images. Now, I do not necessarily do this for my clients, because not that I don't want to, it's because when I ask them what are your keywords, nobody knows. So I just show them how to do it themselves. So there you go. Go ahead and do it yourselves. But if you have a zillion images, take your time, pour yourself a glass of wine, go slowly. Best thing, the last thing I can tell you about this, it does matter where that image is located. If I have this on my homepage, try to insert tags and descriptions along the same lines as the same tags and keywords that you have used in the written content of your homepage. If this one is used on a different page, if this is used on your about page, then go ahead and this was another practice I was doing the other day. Then go ahead and use the keywords, include the same keywords as the written content of that page. So don't just load them bulk, put all the keywords behind all the images. No, that's not going to really help. Because once people find this image on Google Images, they want to click on it. Here, have you seen what happens when you search on Google Images? Google Music, I love this. This is a terrible search engine, but God, it works. Let's search. Once I find an image of Lise Levine, I'd never seen this one. Where was this? Okay, that's a video actually. Okay. Once I find this lady and I click on it, when I click on this, it takes me to the web page where that image was found, right? So you want the SEO of this to be along the same lines as this. Does it make sense? Yes? Good? Perfect. Just want to make that point for a second, because it's a pity. Like a lot of people, like I see a lot of people actually do put a lot of time into doing this for themselves, but then they just make such a mess out of all the keywords that even they themselves can't figure out where to go. So when a client searches, for example, Vancouver daycare for their kid, when they click on this is actually a hook to that service. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
This should also tell you something else, which we're going to get to right now. Get other people, other websites to promote your images and put your keywords behind your own images.
How do you do that? You mean?
This is something when I started my business, it's very difficult to find clients that you don't know. So I started to, after 6 months of work, I was ready to expand. So I started to interview people. I think some of you remember, right? And I went on my website and I created blog posts about those people. Okay. Now, I didn't necessarily, but this is basically, I'm showing you that I have done something for those people. Okay. But I'm saying that you can ask for the reverse. You can ask people to do this for you. You can ask people, it's like give or take. Hey, you take care of me, I take care of you. George, I will write a blog post about you. You write a blog post about me, huh? How about that? And I will even give you the content, so you don't need to write it. Just put it on your website. I do SEO for you. You do SEO for me. I promote you. You promote me. Internet, session one. Internet, every network is an interconnected loop. You need to give in order to take. There's no one way street here. Now, if you go to my blog, you see that I had these Oh, see who's here. George Bertolaga. Oh my God. Now, each one of these have become a post where I have put links for these people. I have included their names, but most importantly, I've included a YouTube video. This is where I've done most of the SEO for these people as a thank you. Okay, because most people, people I work with or I know, business owners, they spend time, they create written content. Nobody creates videos. I don't know a lot of people who actively put videos on YouTube. So what I have done as a gift was to add these people like George, like many others, to YouTube index. So now they can be found in one more place. Does it make sense? This was, now, would it help them? Yeah, of course. If you actually go on these videos, I didn't know. This was an experiment for me, sort of. I was learning as well. I didn't know how many people would actually watch these videos. I had no clue. But it's interesting because some of them, like, which one was it? With the record. It's on next page. One of them was watched for, in the first 3 weeks, it was watched for 180 times.
Wow.
That's good enough, right? So this is what I mean, and why I say, I'm going to get to it, that we talked about this, that blogging is important. Before I talk about blogging, one last thing. Guys, I'm sorry, I know we're going over time, so if you have to leave, I totally understand, but I'm almost done. We should be done in the next 5 to 7 minutes.
I have all day.
Perfect. One thing, every time we talked about tag insertion to your images and other things, make sure that you add your website as a property to your Google account. What does that mean? Yes. Do you know that most people, 90% of websites are not being indexed properly? I'm not saying at all, no, but they're not indexed properly because Google doesn't even know they exist. If you have a website, I'm pretty sure you have at least one Gmail. Go ahead. That means you have a Google account. Go ahead and add the website to your Google account as your own property. Okay, so add the website to Google as property. How to connect Google Search Console to Yoast SEO. We don't want Yoast SEO, but now, did you know this exists? Something called Google Search Console. Yes, which is a free service again. Go ahead and add. This is mainly for developers, so it can be a little bit of headache. So, but there are videos that you can easily follow and add your website to Google as your own, as a property that you own. This way, Google knows that, oh, one of my customers owns this thing. And because this person is my customer, I'm going to give them priority over other websites which belong to people who are not my customers. Right? Now, if you want to do what you need to do is to go and add this manually, write it, create it in your account, then get an authorization code, go back to your website, drop it, go to your server to htaccess file, paste it there. Oh my God. Or thank you, Google. They just released, like 4 months ago, they released, I keep saying Google, and this guy keeps coming up. 4 months ago, 4 or 6 months ago, they released a plugin for WordPress. It's called Google Site Kit. Go ahead and install it on your website if you don't already have it, and then activate it. And from there, go ahead and give access to your website, give Google access to your website. Like I said, you need to put that code on your website so Google can make modifications. It's a give or take. By doing this, Google can see all of your content, can index all of your content, even the most private ones. Okay? There you go. That is an agreement. If you want that, if you're okay with that, they go ahead and do this. Install this, follow the instructions. As you can see in the image, you can see your Google Analytics right on your WordPress dashboard. So you don't need to use analytics or anything else. All of those Jetpack and other plugins, you can just shove them all out. You can delete them. Just one plugin, install this, and go ahead, and it will tell you how many people have landed on your page, how much time they've spent, which sections of which page they have spent more time on, so you know which one part of your content is actually successful and which part is not. I cannot recommend this enough. So much that I have actually put this link for you here. Go ahead and download it, or just go on your WordPress website, search Google Sitekit, install it. There are instructions, there are videos, just go ahead and follow that. This plugin, once you give it access to everything, it will automatically add this to your Google Search Console. So you don't need to do anything manually. Make sense? There you go. So make sure you do this. And the last thing, audit your website. Not just for your content, but check and see how far up your website comes. Now, all of this thing that Sherlock told me, okay, Sherlock, it looks like it's a good idea. All right, you wasted 6 months of my time. Did it work? Don't search yourself on a regular Google. Make sure you go on incognito mode. Completely impartial. Even if possible, if you have clients in a certain city, in a certain country, and you want to see how your SEO for those people has worked, use a VPN, connect to a server inside that location, and then search your own website or search your own keywords in incognito mode. Do you understand me? When I say incognito, I mean, right now, if I go on Google, you see my logo up here. I am logged in and it knows who I am. Even if I log out, it still knows which IP address I'm connecting from. All right. Now, if I'm in Vancouver, if my clients are in Vancouver as well, then all I need to do is just to go open an incognito window. So it's not recognized. Nobody can recognize me. Ooh, spooky. And then go on Google or any search engine that I want. You see that I'm not signed in, and go ahead and search, for example, Vancouver web design or whatever that it is. Okay. If you are having a conference, if you're having I don't know, if you're having a service that that is provided to people in different countries, then use a VPN. A VPN is very private network or something like that. Is it? Yeah. Okay. Now there are a lot of VPNs out there, honestly, and all of them are paid. Some are free. Like I bought Bitdefender. They gave me this for free, but it only works until 200 megabytes, and then it cuts out. But the point is, what I'm trying to show you, you can select where you are connecting from. If I have clients in Mexico and I want to see how people searching me from Mexico see the search results, I will go and connect to Mexico. Okay, blah, blah, blah. It says upgrade now, whatever. And then connect. I cannot connect to VPN right now because if I do, Zoom will cut me out. Okay, because my IP address is changing. So that's it. But that is only if you really have clients in different countries. And let's say this is what Amazon does. This is what eBay does. This is what multinational, corporations do. God, my jaw. I'm sorry. I know I talk too much, but it's necessary. Last but not least, my friend. Bless you. Blogging, links, and organic SEO. We have already talked about this, but I wanted this to be a reminder. Let's get this out of the way once and for all. Does blogging help with SEO? Yes. Can I copy content from anywhere else? Can I copy a previously published content. I'm not talking about plagiarism or anything. I don't care. Maybe that's a royalty-free content. Perfect. Can I copy it? No, it's useless. By inserting keywords from somebody else's website, you're actually promoting their website. Yes, you're promoting your own website too, of course, because when people search for those websites, your website will come up as well. Do you remember the example I gave you? Okay, so yes, let me promote you. Hey, other web designer in Vancouver, I want to have a blog post about you, man. I love you. But I'm guarantee you, web designers know this. So if I approach them and I say, hey, I want to promote you and I'm a web designer, they're going to say no. And that's why. And that is why I don't care about my market here in Vancouver, because, excuse my language, it's a shit show in our industry. Now, the reason we believe every website must have a blog is simply that a blog is where you can freely write as much as you like. There is no cap. You can write 5,000, 7,000 words, doesn't matter, right? And you can also play around with H1, H2, P, paragraph, and everything else that we talked about. It's a great way. This is a great way to actually create a noticeable pattern of keywords. What do I mean? Pattern of keywords. Do you remember we hit Control F and we searched business? There was a pattern of keywords being repeated. That's what I mean. And no, do not copy content from anywhere else for the same reason I gave you. What do I mean by links? I have not put anything here about links because you already know the principle. Put your content on other people's websites, put other people's content on your website. This is the best strategy to help each other grow. All right? So approach people and tell people, hey, I want to promote you. Can you do me a favor? Can you write a paragraph about my business on your blog as well? Just somewhere. That's it. It doesn't need to be huge. The same with links. We call them inbound links and outbound links. So much as, I will just show you, I want to go to here. There's a tool I will tell you to use for homework. But this is, do you know Neil Patel? Have you heard this name? He is like the guru, the SEO guru. So much that I hate him. I see his name or hear his name every day. I vomit when I see his bald head. I've actually met him in person. He's the nicest guy ever. To me, he's that Steve Jobs type of person. He's super rich, by the way. Ridiculous. He's loaded. But when you see him, he's wearing his sneakers, his jeans, and a t-shirt. Hey man, how's it going? He's like that. He's an amazing dude, a total genius. But if like this guy, when you go and use this tool, which I'm not going to do right now, but I'm going to show you an SEO analyzer that he has created. When you use this tool, one of the first things that it counts is how many inbound links and outbound links exist. What are inbound links? Links to your website that are found in the body of other websites. Okay. What are outbound links? Links to other websites that are found inside your own content. How many do I need? The more, the better. That's what I can tell you. The more, the better. Have you ever seen websites that have indexes of links? Why do you think people sit down and actually write a blog and they keep listing the top 5 this, the top 10 this? It allows them to share links. And they don't do it for free. They contact those 5 companies and say, hey, I'm promoting you. I don't want money from you, but I want you to mention me as somewhere in your website. One of my friends, I'm not naming names again, he is in love with ClickFunnels. Anyway, I didn't say who, but then here's a reason. That is a part of his business. He is not promoting you. I'm sorry, but I'm saying it. Yes, it's a part of business. He's not promoting you, he's promoting his own business. So should you. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm giving advice here, but it's the reality.
Do you do it, Sherlock? Inbound, outbound, do you do a lot?
Yes, a lot. The example I gave you in the my business mastery show, that's a very good example of that. If we go to, where did I go? No, let me get rid of this here. What you see here, each one of these has an outbound link. Each one here, let's go here. Richly Goldsborough, right? He's such a sweet man. You have a link here, and you have 4 or 5 links behind this video. Even if, now here's again, I repeat this, even if this person never mentions me on their website, I don't give a damn, because he's famous. When people search him, they can find my blog as well. It increases the chance of people landing on my pages. Done. Right? There we go. So let me bring this to an end. Finally. Did I miss anything here? No. All right. What is the conclusion that we can take for online marketing? Number one, that I have not written here. Please do not believe the things that marketing companies tell you. Go and search it. Number one, it is their job to make promises that are too good to be true. Now I go to actual number one. You only need to worry about your SEO if organic search results from like search engines are a source of business for you. If your business relies on affiliates and referrals like me, SEO may be a waste of time and resources for you. You may as well spend that time, that energy on something else, like creating better samples, creating a better portfolio. That was the way I went. This is not a business class. You decide which way you want to go. Number two, content creation is the best strategy to put yourself on the map. Keep posting new images, keep posting new blogs, keep posting new videos. Why do you think being an influencer pays off? Because these people are creating content every day. People, oh God, there are people who are famous because they sit on their couch and they film themselves petting their dogs. I'm not kidding you. I found this on YouTube. It's just a video of a girl. Well, she's a little, but that's not the only reason. I'm sure that's not the only reason people watch those videos. If you just want that, there are better websites for it. But yeah, you know what I mean? But she doesn't talk. She doesn't do anything. She mimes and pets. Yes, that's it. She mimes and pets her dog. Her last video had 1.8 million views. I'm sorry, I want to shoot myself. If you go and sit in the washroom and record yourself farting and put it on, I think you get very good results. Apparently, these days, that is how the industry is changing. Our idea of professionalism and making a living out of doing this way, things have changed. Try to accept it. It is so hard for myself to accept it, honestly. But yes, content creation is the best strategy to put yourself on the map and to make sure your users have a positive experience once they find you in an online search. So that is why I said this section, to have a positive experience. This is why I told you when you insert tags and descriptions when you're selecting tags and descriptions for an image, select from the same tags and descriptions that you have used in the written content of that page. The worst thing that you can do is to give people promises. When people search for something, they find an image or video, they click on it, they land on the page only to find out that the content of the page is talking about something totally different. Then they will never come back to your website, guaranteed. Because now your website was not a scam, but it was a waste of time. Make sense? So be consistent. People's interest as a result, keywords change. If you do SEO once, it doesn't mean so. To now, this is the answer to your question, George. Can you start doing SEO for 6 months and win the game against people who have been doing it for 4 years? Yes, it doesn't matter how long they've been doing it for. Only the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months count. People's interest, trends change. That's why I gave you Google Trends to see how trendy keywords are now. Things change. If you are having an interactive website where people come and go, you need to write new content every day. And you need to change your SEO keywords with that. You cannot overhaul the whole website every 6 months. That's impossible. That's too much hard work. But by adding a blog post, you can introduce new keywords to your system. Does it make sense? So people's interest and keywords do change. This makes SEO a never-ending challenge. Yes, sorry, it's not a one-time thing. There are no shortcuts in promoting a website, and perhaps you want to reconsider spending that money with those big SEO gurus who claim the impossible, like, oh, we will put you on top of Google and you will stay there forever. Nobody stays there forever. No one. You cannot find this because Google has removed this, but it's an interesting story to know. For a short time, I think it was one of Microsoft search engines. I think it was MSN. If you went on Google and searched the best search engine in the world, MSN would come first. This is the trickiness of SEO. They beat Google at their own game. So Google actually, what they did, they signed a treaty with Microsoft and other search engines. Hey, let me live my life, okay? And I will allow you to exist. So that Google was Godfather. Hey, there should be either your down on this thing, this contract, there should be either your signature or your brain. That's what exactly they did. They went to MSN, they said, hey, stop playing around with my tail and I will allow you to exist. Otherwise, I will wipe you out of the internet. So, number 4, one of the most important factors that Google's search engine takes into account is location. So if you have a clientele that comes from a certain location, like you, George, at your interior design company, make sure that your at least 20, 30% of your keywords are location related. Vancouver, Van City, I don't know, British Columbia, these words should be all over it. Make sure you pay enough attention to the needed keywords and setting your Google profile up to the smallest details. So even in your Google, create a Google business profile for yourself. I cannot emphasize this enough. What is the phrase for it? I cannot this enough. Anyway.
Overemphasize.
Yeah. Go to your Google, create a Google My Business account for yourself. Your location is so important to them. They will send a physical letter to you with a key, so they will mail it to you. So
I got it the other day on Thursday. I got
exactly one. And then you have to put that in to prove that you are the owner of this business. Do it, do it, do it. Like, not a question. Some businesses are shy of sharing their address because a lot of businesses are online businesses. Maybe people say, hey, it's my home address. I don't want to share it on Google, which is the mistake I made. I deleted my address after it was approved. I deleted my address from Google and I said, I added a service area. Okay. No, literally, now in my case, like I said, I didn't care. I wanted people to, when they search web design Vancouver, I wanted to have a chance to be there. Also, when they search web design Maple Ridge, I still wanted to have a chance. So I created an area. But if your clientele are, let's say, only in Port Moody, or most of them in Port Moody, then make sure you have a specific street address on your business profile. Okay. Last but not the least, my friends, make it a weekly or even daily task to find another website willing to publish a link to yours, or either they promote you or you promote them. So finding a lot of business gurus talk about joint ventures. Sure, and that's a very good idea. Absolutely, by all means. But this is another kind of joint venture you should think of searching for. The other kind of joint venture, which means people passing clients to each other, it's hard to come by. This is easy. You can find a new person and tell them, hey, I want to promote your website if you promote my website. Deal? And set a time for it. If you think they might say yes, and then they might delete the post that is about you, tell them to share the link with you. And it's an agreement. I'm going to keep your blog up, the blog that is about you, George, or the blog that I've written on my website about you, Lise. I'm going to keep it up for 1 year, and I expect you to do the same thing. Provide the content to them and ask them to give their own content, because your content must include your own keywords. Yeah, does it? Yeah, it's all coming together, right? Perfect. Find that. Make it your. Go on Facebook today and start messaging your friends whom you know have a website, and you can ask this from them. But again, remember, you are not just asking for something; you're also providing the same service. And both of them are profitable for you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for bearing and taking the time to sit with me. It was quite long. And the next session is going to be even longer than this. I'm giving you a heads up. Not a Friday session. This coming Friday session will be our practice session for SEO. But next Tuesday, which we are doing a overall audit of our website and finding the cracks and holes in our system to fix them. We're going to learn troubleshooting and debugging. I think we're going to be here for like 2 hours or so. So get ready for that. This is your homework for Friday, and please come on Friday. These 2 sessions, even if you haven't done your previous homework, I personally don't, it doesn't matter, because the previous sessions was for you to understand how things work. I don't expect you to become a web designer. No, nor can you. Honestly, it's difficult. I know. Yes, it's just like, let's say you have academic education in, for example, astronomy, and you sit down and talk to me about astronomy and describe stuff to me, and you give me an idea. All right. You cannot just give me a telescope and say, okay, now find that star. I'm like, I don't care. Like, what? So no, I do not expect you. Like I said, the first session, the purpose of the course was not to make you webmasters necessarily, but for you to know that next time, oh shit, I went on my website and it says fatal error. Oh, plugin. Hey, Taryn, this plugin has broken my website. Can you remove it, please? This is the purpose. The final 2 sessions are actually things that you yourself are responsible for and you can do for yourself. One of them is SEO. If you search on average SEO packages, go from $800 to $6,000 a month. Okay. The cheapest I could find was $800 a month. The most expensive I could find was $6,000 a month. And this is all they do, my friends. You are paying for somebody to sit down, research, and import some words for you. That's all you're paying for. So please, the first thing you do, give your website or landing page or whatever it is, give it an SEO analysis. Give it an SEO audit. Now, this is the most complete tool that is out there, but there are also a lot of more basic tools which also give a lot of more understandable results to you. The results that this one shows are very, very detailed, so it might be difficult to comprehend. And also, if you decide to go ahead and do this for yourself, And by the way, this is the SEO analyzer. Be careful when you land on this page for the first time. The moment you go to input your website address, this page changes and becomes a little whiter. Don't write your email, your website address, because what that's an opt-in form. That's a different form. That's a trick. But there's an X. Close that or click back and come here. Put your website in, and it will take. Where is it? Show it. It will take approximately. Oh, my website was done last night. So anyway, there you go. Here's it. Actually, it's doing it. I think I didn't finish it because it takes 10 to 15 minutes to analyze your website. I got bored and I just closed it. But it will tell you how many broken pages or broken links you have, how many issues they can find, and don't panic. No, like this is my website and it's saying it's 130 issues. SEO issues. Yes, I have not updated my SEO keywords in the last year. So I already know what those issues are, okay? Even critical errors, don't panic. It says critical error, oh my God. No, this is, for example, here, this is zero issues, whatever. For example, 0 pages use Flash. Of course, I don't use Flash. Flash was discontinued 8 months ago. Mr. Patel, didn't you know that? Right? So 90 pages have a low word count. Yeah, because I don't need more content on my website. So when it says critical errors, don't panic. But read through them and look at the things that you can fix or you want to fix and the things that you can't fix. If you can't fix it, then yes. But if you think it is important, go ahead and get someone to. For example, did you know that SSL is actually an SEO factor? Websites that are loading over HTTPS are prioritized over websites that load over HTTP. So it's always good to have an SSL, always. Okay, so read through these, do a complete analysis and read the report. First, address the things that you can address, because a lot of SEO things, which we did not get to talk about today, are mainly web designer things. They're not SEO per se, like SSL. So go and read this report. I love the report that Neil Patel gives. Really high five, man. I love you, because it works. Read through them. See if there are stuff like this that you can ask your web designer or whoever to fix for you. Tell them to fix for you. Okay. But then like this one, this is not something that is related to your web designer. Low word count, go and write more. You get me? And by the way, just to tell you why you shouldn't take this that seriously, how many pages have a low word count again? 90. How many pages do you think I have on my website? 8, 10. Are you kidding me? This is also, so where's the rest of it coming from? Is it a lie? No. This is also searching other websites that have shared my link onto them. So this is actually a good thing. I know that there are 80 something pages on the internet that I didn't even know of who have shared my link or who have shared content from me. So thumbs up, high five, well, self 5. Good. Right? Read through this, find out what the hell is going on with your website right now. Number 2, resolve those critical issues as much as you can. Number 3, check the quality of your existing keywords on Google Trends. We talked about it. So go and change it to your location or to the parameters that are important to your business, and check the keywords that you have already used. If you don't have any keywords or you haven't done any SEO, then forget about it. Go to step 4. Actually, no, go to the second section of step 3. Go and search for new keywords to add to your system. Now, either you can go and pay something like SEMrush, or actually there is a website which I just remembered right now. can remember correctly, yes, ahrefs.com. This is again a keyword explorer. You see, go and search. You can start a trial for free, so you don't have to pay for it. Okay, spend your time, do your research on this one, or on similar platforms to this, or SEM Rush or other ones. They all have 15-day trial periods, so you don't have to pay for them. But if you can do all of your research in one afternoon, select 20, 30, 50 keywords, then go back to your Google Trends and check the quality and frequency. Then go back to your competitor websites and see how many of those keywords have been used. By the way, you don't necessarily want to repeat the same keywords that your competitors are using. You want to use some of those and also use some new keywords that are signature to yourself, to your own business, right? For example, Vancouver interior design, they are right down your alley, but there's also right down alley for other Vancouver interior designers. But what if the image that you want to give is like here, one of my keywords is fast, speedy and fast. My promise is that I don't care what your website is. If you actually give me all of your content right now, I do not care how many pages you have, how difficult your website is. I can give you a website within 72 hours. That's my selling points. And then start insert your new keywords using your platform, like ClickFunnels or whatever, or your platform SEO module, or if you're using WordPress, using a plugin like Yoast or whatever that it is. And also go and add the tags and descriptions to all the images, update all the content as much as you can. Now, I know you cannot do all of this until Friday. Of course you cannot. So number 4, this is your homework until the day, knock on the wood, I hope you're with me for the next 200 million years, but you need to do number 4 until the day you die. Okay? So, but try to at least, I would love to be able to audit, now that we are only 2 or 3 people, I would love to be able to give you something, which after this course, I want to audit all of your content, because I don't write content for people. I used to, but then it's too difficult. So if you want, I can help you audit your website for your design and for your content, but in this case, mainly for your content. So you can go ahead and start fixing it. So next session, I can do that. My recommendation, take one of your pages, try to, after you found your keywords, try to overhaul the written content of at least one of your pages, so I can check it for you and tell you how good or how strong it is and what areas you can improve on. Last but not least, once a month, go and test your website for errors. Go on neilpatel.com, analyzer, whatever. Go and keep doing it. Like I said, keywords change, trends change, people change. Errors happen, things happen. Go and check it. And keep repeating this loop, my friends, until the day you're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to retire. Sorry, my mouse, I dropped it. Keep doing it until the day you realize, oh, you know what? I want to retire myself, whatever. I'm sorry, I could not see your chats until now. My Zoom had locked out my chat box. Now that I stopped sharing, I can see it. So, Liz said, that's funny. That's one of the things I truly appreciate about you. Thank you very much. Yes, sort of, I guess. I lie too sometimes, Liz. Trust me, it's business. You sometimes have to. Not to you, but... you say, why would we need to change or update the SEO? I think now you have your answer. Good. Point well taken. Georgia said, will do, Charlotte. I need to rewatch this video. Yes, absolutely. And a lot of my clients actually ask me, hey, do you do SEO as well? And my answer is always no. And here's a reason. Only the only case when it makes sense to give your SEO job to someone to do for you is if they are running your business for you. If they are doing all of your marketing, if they are the people, if you are just the face of the business and then you have a team who is running your business for you, then yes, absolutely, it makes sense to hire a marketing company and pay them every month to keep doing your SEO, because it's too much work to keep up with it. But in reality, there is nobody in the whole world better than yourself to do SEO for yourself, because you know best. Honestly, you do know best when it comes to this one. In every other session, I tell you, hey, don't touch it, don't touch that. You don't know it. This one, you know it. I promise you. Just it takes a little patience to sit down and find the correct keywords and do it the right way. So before I bring it to an end, fellas, do you have any questions? If you're good, please give me a thumbs up on your Facebook, on your Zoom thingy. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're fine. Yes, good. Thank you. So guys, make sure that you do your homework and do not miss the next instruction session, which is when we are going to bring everything together. We are actually going to do a case study where we're going to look at a page that has bad SEO, that has bad design, that has broken links. We're going to find how to fix every one of these. I'm going to introduce tools that help you audit your website for the quality of your content, links, and everything else. So hopefully after that, you will be your business masters, and maybe you can also start helping your affiliates to take care of their own businesses. Thank you very much, guys. I shall see you next session.